Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I have a bunch of Chicago Bulls playoff news, some injury updates. I'm going to be doing just a quick little Bulls versus Bucks, I'd say preview for the NBA playoffs, talking about some player matchups and who's going to be the X factor for the Chicago Bulls in this series. But before I jump into today's video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Also leave a quick like on today's video. It takes a second and it helps me out a lot. And leave some comments and questions below today's video about all the topics, injury updates, and of course the Bulls vs Bucks series coming up. Also, check out my last video if you guys missed it. I was talking about how the Chicago Bulls are expected to make a bunch of major changes to the roster in this upcoming offseason. I was also talking about how the Bulls just haven't been focused and how the Chicago Bulls have been just playing really ugly basketball since the All-Star break. But either way, let's just jump right into today's video, because the date for Game 1 between the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks has been set. You know, it is this Sunday. A time has not came out yet, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Now, before I give my opinion on this whole series, break down some player matchups and some injury updates, let me know below today's video. I want to see a bunch of comments below today's video and be as realistic as you guys can be. I know it might be hard, but I want to hear your series predictions below between the Bulls and the Bucks. But either way, like I was just saying, the Chicago Bulls, sure, you know, the season was up and down, especially the end of the season and all the injuries and COVID and everything like that. You know, the Bulls did finish 46-36, but at the same time, just think of where this team was at just 1 to 2 years ago. You know, sure, we ended the season rough, but I'm still happy that the Bulls are in the playoffs, and I'd say a lot of young guys on this roster are finally going to get some much-needed playoff experience. Now, obviously, I talked about this in my last video. Matching up with the Bucks in the first round isn't a good matchup at all. I feel like they're probably one of the worst matchups for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, they just won a championship last year. They have Giannis, you know, and I feel like the only person in the NBA that can stop Giannis is himself. Now, with that being said, you know, some huge injury updates did come out, and I'm going to be honest, they're pretty positive for once. You know, I felt like this whole season has just been every other week someone getting hurt for like 4 to 6 weeks. You know, Casey Johnson, a Bulls insider, did give an update on practice yesterday, and he said the Bulls had a training camp type practice with scrimmaging and contact yesterday per Billy Donovan. He said everyone did practice but Matt Thomas. And speaking of Casey Johnson, I saw he was talking about the whole Bulls versus Bucks series, and he does expect the Bulls to get swept. Or he said that the Chicago Bulls, if lucky, might win one game. And I hate to be like this, but I might be in the same boat as him. Now onto a big update on Alex Caruso. You know, Alex Caruso and Lonzo were pretty much, I'd say, the main parts of this team's defense. You know, Caruso has had injuries this whole season, and especially as of late, his back has been bothering him. You know, thankfully, he isn't in danger of missing the start of the NBA playoffs, Billy Donovan did say. Alex Caruso wanted to play Friday, but he did sit out, and he's doing so, obviously, again. He did, what was that, Saturday or Sunday versus Minnesota. And just yesterday, Billy Donovan gave another quick little update on Alex Caruso. You know, like I was just saying earlier in today's video, they held a scrimmage and all that, and he was a full participant in practice and scrimmaging. Donovan said Alex Caruso said that this is the best he's felt in a long time, and that the games off at the end of the regular season has him in a good place physically and mentally. So that's huge. At least we're getting Alex Caruso near 100% to start the NBA playoffs. And now back onto the Bucks versus Bulls, I'd say preview and recap. You know, huge shout out to a Bulls insider. You know, I hate to say this, but the Bulls, like I said earlier in today's video, the Bulls versus the Bucks are a terrible matchup for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have lost 16 of their last 17 matchups with the Bucks dating back to January 2018. The only win was the final game of the 2020-2021 regular season, and Giannis has personally won 13 straight games against the Bulls. The last loss he did have versus the Chicago Bulls was December 26, 2017. So that definitely hurts to just read and say. And I'm going to be honest, as long as this series is competitive, if the Bulls maybe steal 1 to 2 games and I'd say all the other games are close, I'm going to be happy. No matter what, this season was a success in my opinion. I still do expect a busy offseason from Arturas and Mark Eversley, but you know, if the Bulls have a fighting chance to maybe just win the series or maybe just 1 to 2 games, I believe the X factors for this team, you know, obviously we're going to need Demar and Zach to play huge, but other than them, I'm sure they're going to get doubled a lot. And I know the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, obviously they won last year's championship. They're a great offensive and defensive team, and especially on clogging the lane and defending the mid-range jumper, the Bucks do not let Demar get to his spots in every game they've played this season. And if the Bulls want to have a chance in this series, I believe Patrick Williams and Vooch are going to be the X factors for this team, because the Bucks are going to be doubling, I'd say, Zach and Demar heavily, and they're going to let the other guys beat us. You know, thankfully, Patrick Williams just had a huge game against the Minnesota Timberwolves the other day. Hopefully that just helps him and he just keeps building on that game, because I think we all know Patrick Williams has the tools and talent to be a really good, I'd say, player in the NBA, maybe even an all-star one day. I might be reaching, but he definitely has the tools and talent to be one. I mean, in that game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, he just looked, I'd say, focused, and he knew what he was going to do with the basketball. I mean, other than having 35 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and shooting really well from the field and getting to the free throw line, I saw like 10 to 12 times, he just looked like he was dialed in and he wasn't like trying to step on anyone's toes. And he always needs to play like that, especially in the NBA playoffs with Zach and DeMar. I also believe Vooch is going to need to be huge in this series. I mean, the end of the season, Vooch has been terrible. You know, in his last 4 games for the Chicago Bulls, he only averaged 10 points per game, 7 rebounds. His minutes have been down. He's only shot about 33% from the field and only 15% from three-point range. You know, I like Vooch, but this season has really been up and down from him. I just feel like he doesn't fit the best with this team. I feel like the Bulls kind of just forget about him sometimes in the post and I'd say down low. But thankfully, I mean, Vooch in the playoffs has been a walking double-double. Hopefully, Vooch is more focused and we get this Vooch in the playoffs, because Vooch in his last playoff series for the Magic, he was really good. I mean, in Game 1, he had 35, 14, and 4, and he shot really well from the field. I'll make sure to throw up the stats and everything like that. Game 2, he had 32 and 10. Game 3, he had 25 and 3. Game 4, he had 31, 11, and 7. And in Game 5, he had 22, 15, and 5. He didn't shoot the best in Game 5, but no matter what, if the Bulls are going to have I'd say, chance just to win a few games or maybe in this series, I believe Patrick Williams and Vooch are going to need to be the X factors for this team. Zach and DeMar can only do so much, I'd say, in the ISO game, and hopefully we don't see the ISO game that much in the playoffs, because at the end of the day, in the NBA playoffs, you need a big man that can score in the half-court game, in my opinion. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video, giving me some series, I'd say, predictions, what you guys expect is going to happen, who's going to be the X factor for this series. Also, just leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about all the injury updates and what you guys expect the Chicago Bulls to do in this upcoming offseason. No matter what, thank you guys for watching today's video and all the love on the channel and the past few videos. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.